Views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect the policies and the position of Now You Know.
Good afternoon and welcome to Viewpoint. Together with experts and newsmakers, we make sense of the week's biggest issues and stories. I'm Barnaby Law. In today's conversation,
Newly appointed Philippine National Police Chief, General Guillermo Eleazar, starting with a pledge to share its files with the Justice Department's task force that's reviewing the conduct of officers in the war on drugs. It isn't clear, however, how many of these files and how much information from them are going to be available to investigators. President Rodrigo Duterte says releasing them may compromise national security. Recent killings involving members of the police force are also proving a setback for Eleazar. Last week, a police officer shot dead an 18-year-old boy with special needs in Valenzuela City. On Monday, another cop figured in the brutal death of a civilian. Police Master Sergeant Hensizi Nampan was caught on video pulling 52-year-old Lilibeth Valdez's hair before shooting her in the neck. The palace maintains they're isolated cases, but critics say there is a culture of impunity that continues to enable police brutality and abuse.
all right, and joining us on this discussion on security and police matters this afternoon is the spokesperson of the Philippine National Police, Brigadier General Ronaldo Olay. Welcome, sir, to Viewpoint. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon, Barnaby, and to our listeners, televiewers. Thank you for having me.
Okay, salamat po. Wala po tayong masyadong oras. Alam ko po, meron po kayong engagement less than an hour from now. So let's get to it. First of all po, update po dun sa nangyaring shootout sa SLEX kahapon. Ano po ba talaga yung, because there have been, of course, there were witnesses there and marami pong nag-post na ito po yung nangyari, ganito po yung nangyari. Pero ano po ba talaga yung mga detalye sa pangyayaring yon?
Well, Barnes, may nag-report may alleged kidnapping for ransom incident earlier. So our personnel from NCR PO and Police Regional Office 4 and saka HPG, Patrol Group, nag-responde sila at dun nga sa malapit sa Silangan exit ay nakita yung sasakyan at nagkaroon ng putukan at dalawa yung ang namatay doon at recovered from their possession were two short firearms and then several magazines with ammunition, tsaka I think more than 1 million.
So, but how did this end up in a shootout? Nauna pong nagpaputok yung mga suspect or, I mean, kasi, with everything that's been happening right now, there's always a question of bakit ganun yung nagiging response ng police? Bakit nagpapaputok? But of course, I think, and I would assume na it's a case-to-case basis.
Yes, totoo yan. Nasa police operational procedure na if we are fired upon, we have to defend ourselves, no? At yun nga ang nangyari sa shootout na ito. Nauna silang nagpuputok.
Doon na po yung nasa van.
To shoot back, to neutralize yung dalawang namatay nga tao na yun.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. And dalawa lang po yung laman ng van. So both dead. Okay. So I guess that's the end of it. Wala pong victim yung dapat nakikidnapin wasn't in the van? Wala pong ganun.
Wala doon sa loob ng van, wala. Papasalamat kami at hindi ganun nangyari. At actually, na-establish naman ng tropa na wala talagang kidnap victim doon. Otherwise, the consideration, primary consideration there, Barnes, is the life of the victim, the safety of the victim. No? Kung alam ng tropa na merong hawak-hawak silang victim doon sa loob ng sakyan, that's the primary consideration, life of the victim. Hindi nila i-risk yung one life of the victim para doon sa mga papers, unless na talagang there is already a matter of life and death on the part of the policemen involved in the operation.
Mm-hmm. How about yung pong siguro a week ago or a little over a week ago yung pong nangyari sa Valenzuela involving a policeman and an 18-year-old boy. I know na iimbestigahan po ito ng NBI. Meron na po bang progress yung investigation na yan? Have you found this police officer liable for killing the 18-year-old boy na may special needs?
Yes. Actually, may isang witness doon na gusto niyang mag-surrender kay Chief. And nag-surrender nga siya. Indeed, nag-surrender sa kay Chief. At nag-surrender, yung witness na nakakita ay pumunta siya kay Chief. Sa kanya kay Chief, mismo niya gustong isiwalat yung kanyang nakita. At in deference to the wishes of the family, si Chief ay turn over niya yung witness sa NBI kasi yun naman ang wishes ng family for the NBI to handle the investigation of the said case and may commitment kami na tumulong sa investigation. Actually, yung police na involved doon at saka yung mga kasama niya ay they were all relieved from their assignments and then they were reassigned to the headquarters of the Northern Police District for them to be always available for investigation. Hindi muna sila nilagay sa duty para kung sabihin ng NBI na they need their presence, makakapunta agad sila sa National Bureau of Investigation. No? And sa mga ganyan, ay inatasan din ng ating pinagpipitaga ng Chief ng Philippine National Police, si General Yazar, yung aming Internal Affairs Service. Yung aming Internal Affairs Service, they will conduct a motu proprio investigation on their own. Pwede silang mag-conduct ng investigation. That is their mandate pag may namatay sa police operations. And yun nga, inatas sa kanila ng ating mga hepe na mag-conduct sila ng sarili nilang investigation. And hintayin lang natin kasi pag may ganyang investigation ay gustong masunod ng ating chief ng Philippine National Police na yung due process will be accorded to them, no? Kasi pag we will do shortcuts sa investigation, lalo na sa administrative cases, ay posible pa rin na makabalik siya later on kasi due to some technicalities, no?
Mm. Okay. You mentioned due process, of course, and I understand, of course. On my part, I do concur na syempre dapat po may due process. Pero syempre critics are asking, bakit pag police may due process? Bakit pag suspect, especially sa war on drugs, bakit walang due process? Bakit ang daming namamatay at sasabihin na nanlaban? And to my mind, if I'm not mistaken, sir, isa pa lang yung kaso na may resolution sa court. Ito yung kaso ni Kian de los Santos, nakulong yung mga police na pumatay kay Kian de los Santos. So correct me if I'm wrong kung hindi lang yon, ano, sir?
Well, sa mga ibang cases na mag-iba-iba naman kasi yung mga circumstances, no? Iba-ibang mga pagkakataon naman yon, no? Kaya hindi compare apples and oranges, no? At yan naman ay yung sinasabing inimbestigahan ng Internal Affairs Service ang kanilang administrative cases, mga more than 5,000 cases na, and for the possible lapses. And nakita nga ng Internal Affairs Service na yung out of that number ay 61, initially 61 ang nakita nilang merong possible lapses, and these cases were nagkaroon ng summary hearing, from investigation. That's the gathering of facts, tapos pre-charge investigation, and then summary hearing. Yun na yung actual hearing sa kaso. At yung sa 60, lahat yun ay nag-undergo sila ng summary hearing procedure. At 61 ang nakita ng kumpleto ng ebidensya, may complainant, at may nakitang lapses ang ating Internal Affairs Service, kaya nagkaroon ng 61 cases. And
Pero
actually,
administrative cases lang po? Wala pa pong criminal cases sa 61 na ito?
yung mga pa na yun ay yung iba na-file ng mga criminal cases, yung iba ay hindi nagpuso dahil sa hindi na rin interesado yung teams of the victims to pursue the case, at walang ebidensya na makita ang Internal Affairs Service.
You're saying 61 lang because either ayaw na ng mga biktima na ituloy yung kaso, or walang witness, or kulang sa ebidensya. You're not saying na yung 5,000 plus cases na yan na inimbestigahan ng Internal Affairs Services ay siguradong walang wrongdoing yung mga involved na mga pulis.
Yes, kasama yun. At hindi kumpleto yung ebidensya na na-present ng the other side. Kaya it led to the dismissal of the cases.
Pero posible na yung lahat ng mga 5,000 plus cases na yon ay merong wrongdoing on the part of the police conducting those police operations.
Well, I cannot tell, Vance, kasi hindi nga kumpleto yung ebidensya. So I cannot jump into conclusions agad.
Okay. Because of course, as you know, critics have been pointing out na napakababa ng batting average sa prosecution of erring cops. So you're now, gusto ko lang pong linawin. So you're now saying na mababa yung batting average, hindi dahil for sure walang nalabag na protocol sa itong mga police sa operations nila, but you're saying kulang yung ebidensya para i-prosecute itong mga miyembro ng Philippine National Police. Gusto ko lang po iklaro.
Kasama yun, lack of evidence, kaya hindi nagpurso yung case. Hindi na interesado yung family to pursue the case. Yun. Kaya yun ang mga reason kaya na-dismiss yung mga kaso.
Okay. Now, yung 61 po na sinasabi ninyo, ito po yung sinasabi na i-open up sa DOJ, doon po sa task force na nag-iimbestiga. Hindi po malinaw kasi sa akin, medyo nagkakagulo po kasi yung mga statements, because one day sinabi ni General Eleazar sa ANC na i-open lahat ng files, yung 5,000 plus na files sa DOJ. And then another day, sinasabi na hindi lahat, yung 61 lang. So which is which po?
Actually, hindi mga 61 ngayon. It's 53 because the 8 cases are meron pang pending appeal, final appeal pa. So naging 53. Pero yung 8 is nasa last stages na ng appeal, and kung ano man yung maging decision doon is they will adapt later to the 61, no? At yung mga this is a good starting point, no, 61, dahil nangyari lang naman ito during the courtesy call of nakita si SOJ, si Sara Guevara, and the Chief PNP. Nagkita sila, and nagkaroon sila ng agreement at na initially yung 61, it's a good starting point. It's a good starting point, no? At later on, kung ano man yung mangyari ay we are committed to help, no? Sa investigation na yan, no? At
Okay, so 61. So, malinaw po, 61 po muna.
53
53
muna.
muna.
Mayroon pang final appeal.
But why wouldn't the PNP just give all the files to this investigating task force?
Because yung 61 ay yun yung mga may nakita na possible lapses ang External Affairs Service after they had done the full length of the investigation from the initial investigation to the pre-charge investigation up to the summary hearing, no? Kaya yun ang na may nakitaan sila na possible lapses at naimbestigahan at nirekomenda ng dismissal yung mga pulis na yon o napinahan yung mga pulis na yon na naimbestigahan nila.
Yes, no, I understand. I understand. So mas kompleto po yung investigasyon. Basically sinasabi ninyo sa 61 na kaso na ito. Pero hindi po ba itong task force na ito has been assigned to to review your investigations, to re-investigate. So hindi po ba dapat lahat ng files ay ibigay sa kanila para po mas kompleto po yung maging review nila, para po mas transparent at mas mas maging kompleto yung investigation nila. Otherwise, they will be reviewing those you've already completed na investigahan. And so, hindi po nila makikita yung mga hindi po ninyo na yung mga hindi kompleto yung investigation na files.
Sabi ko nga kanina is this is a good starting point, no? 53 cases, 8 are pending final appeal, no? Kung ano man yung later ang agreement ay we are committed to help, no? Sa investigation ng mga cases na ganyan.
So you're saying na you're still yung 5,000 other plus na files ay maaaring i-open up nyo pa yan doon sa task force kung i-request nila.
Yes, possible in the future kung they will consider opening up sub-files.
Okay. Because from what I'm hearing from them, they're interested in looking at all the files, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, I cannot speak for them. But the critics are saying na because 53 lang yung files na willing ninyong i-share doon sa task force, parang palabas lang daw po to to appease the international community.
Yes, I understand where they're coming from, no? But we are really committed. Nagbigay na ng assurance si we are sincere in cooperating with the probe, the investigation to be conducted by the Department of Justice. No? Nagbigay na ng commitment si Yasar, si PNP, and an agreement is conveys our sincere intention to cooperate with the investigation.
Well, obviously, all of this is to exact accountability and to, as part of cleansing your ranks and to an extent your image. What is this new leadership of the PNP doing differently? Say, for example, na-mention ni General Eleazar the other day na magkakaroon po ng neuropsychiatric tests. Bago po ito, no? Hindi po ito nagawa dati, no? But let me just point out also na sinasabi ng mga kritiko, kulang daw ito. Because it is actually a culture of impunity within the PNP na kailangan baguhin o alisin?
Well, yung testing neuropsychiatric test ay nangyari yan during the recruitment process, no? Bago mag-officer, bago maging patrolman yung isang aplikante, no? And then, nauulit yan when they go on schooling, mag-schooling sila, NP test is required or kaya for promotion. At ngayon nga ay napag-isipan ng liderato ng Philippine National Police na to study a regular conduct of neuropsychiatric test for our personnel, no? And that is where we will start, no? Pag-aralan ng health service, kung ano yung pwedeng gawin diyan kasi Barnes, we are limited by our resources, no? Unang-una sa aming mga personnel health service ay siyempre kukunti lang naman yung mga psychologist, psychiatrist natin, no? At they cannot matutukan yung 220 PNP personnel, no? At siyempre pag-aralan natin mabuti kung paano magawang regular ang NP test sa lahat ng ating personnel sa ating kapulisan, no?
But does this address the culture of impunity? And maybe in relation to that, has President Duterte's statements saying, I will protect cops at all costs, has that emboldened police officers to use force, to use the force of a gun in their operations as well as outside their operations?
Well, hindi naman Barnes, no? Kasi yung ayon sa ating police operational procedures, no? We are yung sa PNP we are authorized to use reasonable force to subdue yung threat against our persons, no? Kung merong babaril sa amin ay we have to subdue or we are allowed to employ reasonable force to neutralize the threat, no? At bilang nasa law enforcement services, we are authorized to carry our guns with us kahit na naka-off duty kami. We are still policemen, and when something happens, ay kailangan mag-responde kami kahit na naka-off duty kami. And the Chief PNP, General Rizal, has been constantly reminding our commanders on the ground to effectively supervise their men, no? Kasi at all levels of command, merong responsibility yan, merong authority to discipline their men, no? Pwede silang pag may mga infractions sila, mayroon silang mga minor infractions, they can discipline their men. Kung mga dismissible cases naman ay up to the Chief PNP na yung responsibility noon, meron siyang authority noon, no? And yun ang reminder palagi ng ating Chief PNP sa mga commanders on the ground to be responsible in supervising their men on the ground, no? At yung pagdadala naman ng baril ay may kalakip na responsibilidad yan. Alam ng pulis yan na hindi lahat ng oras ay pwedeng gamitin ang baril during times of emergency o in case of sabi ko kanina, pag may threat sa kanilang mga buhay, and they are authorized to use reasonable force to neutralize the threat against the person.
Pero hindi ho ba yun yung argument ng mga kritiko na ang narrative na nanlaban isn't necessarily true? Na meron daw po mga ebidensya, and in fact, this is something that the DOJ has also said, and the United Nations High Commissioner on Human Rights, na ang daming kaso na may mga ebidensya na hindi talaga nanlaban yung mga suspect na sinabi ng mga pulis na nanlaban. And
Well,
and may I add, and President Duterte has said just recently that the police, they're trained to kill. I mean, is that helping? That statement na sinabi ni President Duterte that his men, his police are trained to kill.
his men are, ano yung statement ba?
Ang sabi po ni President Duterte, the police are trained to kill.
Part of our training is the handling of arms, firearms, no? Kaya yun ang part ng training ng Philippine National Police and the armed services, no? And sabi ko nga kanina ay part of our police operational procedures to to use reasonable force, employ reasonable force to neutralize the threat against persons pag may mangyaring ganyan. And part naman ng training talaga ng PNP ay hindi lang yon, kundi responsibility in handling firearms. Actually, hindi naman responsibility in handling firearms. No? Yun ang reason doon dahil iti-train ka is to be responsible kasi alam natin na yan ay very dangerous pag nagamit sa ibang paraan. And kaya tinuturuan kami in a responsible way on how to use those firearms.
Pero lumalabas po kasi ngayon na pasensya na po for pushing this, pero lumalabas po kasi kayo ngayon even doon po sa investigasyon ng DOJ, pati po sa UN, na marami nga pong kaso na sinabi ng mga pulis na nanlaban pero may ebidensya na hindi nanlaban. May mga witnesses na nagsasabi na hindi talaga nanlaban. And then, on the other hand, ito po mga recent cases po ng mga off-duty na policemen na nakapatay po ng civilians. So medyo sunod-sunod po kasi. So nung December po, yung pong sa Tarlac, and then ito pong just very recently, yung pong sa Fairview na pareho pong caught on video. So ang question po dyan ng mga iba, online po, mga netizens po, ay kung hindi po na kunan ng video kaya, ano po kaya ang mangyayari? Baka po hindi rin mapanagot itong mga pulis.
Yes. Kaya nga we are encouraging our kababayan, no? Kung meron silang nakita, meron silang na-witness or they are the victims themselves ay makipag-cooperate sa amin sa Philippine National Police para maimbestigahan, no? Dun sa Nuestra case, yung you're referring that to Tarlac, no? Nangyari yon. At na-dismiss na siya. Hindi nagtagal, dinismiss agad yung police na yun. No? At isipin na lang ninyo kung ano yung epekto naman ngayon sa kanyang family. And similarly, dito sa nangyari kay
Sinampan po.
Sinampan, yes, Sinampan ay he waived his right na mag-submit ng counter affidavit niya, thereby expediting the process, the process of the investigation being conducted by Internal Affairs Service. At ngayon ay nasa summary hearing na. Yung sa summary hearing naman kasi ay hindi naman natin pwedeng i-shortcut yun, no? Medyo matagal yung proseso no? Actually 1 month from the start of the investigation up to this summary hearing, no? And still another month for the disciplinary authority to hanggang makandak yung alam mo maraming appeal yan mag-a-appeal pa siya, no? Sa kaso. At we are assuring na pag kumpleto yung ebidensya ay aaktuhan natin, no? Kung kulang-kulang, kung wala talagang complainant, walang ebidensya, hindi na nag-interesado yung family na mag-pursue, yun ang mga reason tayo na di-dismiss yung mga kaso. And sabi nga natin we give also due process sa mga pulis na nakaso na ganyan. Kaya kung yung mga masasamang loob is we give them due process support, we give them their day in court. Kaya ganun din sa mga akusado mga Philippine national. So ganun lang ang comparison ng crimes.
So of course, these two cases were caught on camera. Um, Meron po mga kaso ng mga off-duty police na ganyan din na hindi nakunan sa camera na napo-prosecute din po.
Only if there are kung walang electronic evidence ay kailangan ng ibang mga ebidensya, no? Mga witnesses natin, ibang forensic evidence kung meron man for the case to pursue. At
Okay. Kasi nga po yung concern na kung hindi daw nakunan, baka walang mangyari. And yeah. And of course, ngayon, sige po, go ahead.
Yun palagi ang nangyari kung wala ng video at will come down to the witnesses and kung ano man yung pieces of evidence na meron sila, no? Doon usually nagkakaroon ng mga technicality na problema na sa trial, no? At kaya nga inuudyukan namin yung mga kababayan natin na may alam diyan sa mga kaso na ganyan na tulungan kami para ma-pursue yung mga cases na ganyan.
Because of course, the good news today is that nagsimula na po today yung paggamit ng body cams, mga police sa police operations sila, of course on duty po yan, ano. And I'll go there in a little bit, pero pag off duty, of course wala namang body cam ang mga police. So how can you assure critics na kahit walang video ay hindi po makakalusot itong mga off-duty na mga police na maaaring mag-commit ng mga ganitong crimes?
Well,
Or not even crimes, but cases of abuse, for example.
So we really need the cooperation of our kababayan, no? Sa mga bagay na yan, no? Kasi sabi nga nila kung walang witness, parang hindi nga nangyari yung krimen kung wala kang witness, no? At kaninang umaga lang ay nilaunch ng ating hepe, si General Lechar, yung body-worn camera system ng Philippine National Police, no? Yung 2,696 cameras units were distributed to initially 171 police stations consisting of 20 city police officers, 108 city police stations, and the districts of NCRPO and the 15 city and municipal stations of NCRPO and its numbered police stations. No? Well, it's a good start. Yun lang ang kaya ng pondo na naibigay sa amin para mabili. So we were able to procure 2,696. And the ideal number there, Barnes, is about 34,000. So we were only given about 8% of what we need. Pero it's a good start, no? Sabi nga ni Chief kanina, for 2022 ay hindi nakasama yan sa aming pondo, but maybe in the future sa susunod na mga budget proposal namin ay ma-include na yan. At maganda lang dito ay binigyan kami ng capability enhancement program na 128 billion or I'm not mistaken. At yan mga 20 billion a year para finally ay mabili namin yung mga equipment na kailangan namin to include the body-worn camera. At maliban dyan ay nagkaroon na rin ng pagpupulong si Chief Pinty and the Chief Justice ng Supreme Court, si Chief Justice Quismondo. At tinutulungan kami ng Supreme Court to come up with para i-fine-tune yung aming operational procedures on the use of body-worn camera. So we are really serious in pursuing body-worn camera for our men and to finally ay maging part ito ng ating police operational procedures part.
Okay, so for now, what are the operational procedures for this?
Well, initially, yung mga body-worn cameras will be used in anti-illegal drug operations, yan, kaya. And then, uh, for uh, uh, service serving of search warrants and warrants of arrest, yan, kasama yan. And hostage rescue operations, no? And then high risk checkpoint and choke point operations, and then during the implementation of orders of the courts on what quasi-judicial and or administrative bodies, and lastly is during the security coverage of major events such as ASEAN, the SEA Games, the Zone of the President, during elections. So yun ang nakikita natin na paggagamitan ng body-worn
And
camera.
then ano po yung, paano po yung monitoring mechanism nito? What would trigger a review, for example, of footage from a body cam?
Well, pag naka-on na yan, no, hindi pwedeng i-off yan, no? Dito sa Police PNP Command Center, dito sa Kamprami ay merong mechanism yan na kung nakita na naka-off yan ay they can always put that camera on, no? Naka-on dapat yan for the next 8 hours na naka-duty yung policeman. And sa susunod na duty, is tuloy-tuloy siya kasi 8 hours, sabihin natin na 8 hours ang duty, no? So, 3 shift yan. So, yung camera ay tuloy-tuloy yung kanyang pagre-record at ipapasa lang yan sa susunod na shift at sa susunod na shift pa, and then the cycle goes on and on, no? At naka-record yan, automatic ang recording yan dito sa command center at sa police regional offices and provincial offices ng PNP ay mayroon tayong mga monitoring naman. So this must...
Palagi pong may nanonood. Meron pong nanonood sa mga footage simultaneously habang ginagawa yung mga operations.
Correct. May monitoring tayo, and then meron ding recording dito sa command center natin.
Mm-hmm. So you obviously expect this to improve the image of the PNP.
Yes, alam natin na yung mga police personnel ngayon, they are aware na mayroong recording, no? It's just a dashcam sa sasakyan pag may mga nangyaring accidents, ganyan, we can always review. So kung may mga allegations man yan, pagdududa sa operation ng police is both ways sa Barnes. Sa police, gusto naming ma-review din kung ano talagang nangyari. At doon sa mga nag-a-allege, gusto nating makita kung totoo yung sinasabi nila o hindi. So both sides, the body-worn camera will tell the truth.
Ayun nga lang, konti pa lang, ano? So, medyo pilot pa lang siya. So, we won't really see the full effect of it until magamit na talaga siya the whole of Metro Manila and the whole country.
Correct. Kaya nga initially ang rollout dyan ay mga city police stations sa mga cities, no? Kasi yun ang mga malalaking jurisdictions, dyan nangyayari yung mga crimes talaga. So, nag-decide ang leadership na ang rollout ay initially sa mga city police stations.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I'm just gonna go back and one question lang po doon po sa mga off-duty cops, ano? And then I'm gonna go to the quarantine protocols real quick because we only have 5 minutes left. So the PNP, from what I heard from you earlier, the PNP is not open to that proposal na iiwan yung barel ng mga pulis sa police station bago sila mag-off duty. So in short, a proposal to not have cops carry guns off duty.
Well, ang procedures namin is the guns is issued to the guns are issued to individual policemen, and responsibility nila yan, no? At responsibility nila yan. Part yan hanggang pag-duty nila, hanggang pag-uwi ng bahay. That's supposed to be part ng uniform nila, uniform nila yan, no? At kasi along the way, hindi mo alam kung merong mangyari, at may nangyaring ganyan actually, na kahit na off-duty sila at nakita nilang ng krimen, they're obliged to respond to crime incident na ganyan, na nakikita nila in flagrante, in front of the persons ay nangyari. At may mangyayari ganyan na nirespondihan nila, nahuhuli ang mga salarin, no? Part, no? At sabi ko nga ay part ng procedure, police operational procedure, na part ng uniform namin yan, part of our equipment, and we're authorized to bring them home, because that's our responsibility at the end of the day. At sabi
Okay,
ko nga,
so in short, the PNP is projecting the proposal to ban police officers from carrying firearms off duty. Right? So in short, hindi po sang-ayon ang PNP sa proposal na wag padalhan ng baril ang mga off-duty ng mga police.
yes, initially kasi baka naman yung policeman na ang maalagay sa alanganin later on, no? Pag magre-responde naman siya na wala siyang baril sa katawan niya, no? At yun ang mga pag-aaralan dapat ng inyong Philippine National Police, and titignan natin lahat ng mga anggulo tungkol dyan, mga arguments and counter-arguments tungkol dyan. But
Okay,
initially,
so you're not closing.
ang procedure ngayon is it's part of our uniform.
Okay, I'm gonna move on. We have 2 minutes. Siguro real quick, if you can summarize kung ano po yung mga bagong guidelines sa pag-aresto sa mga quarantine violators.
Well, we are tasked really to implement yung minimum public health standards, no? But pag sa local scene, no, yung mga local government units natin ay meron silang mga ordinances, local ordinances, no? At yung mga ordinances na yan ay yan ang ipapatupad ng mga local policemen, yung mga nasa police stations, dahil sila naman talaga ang primary na nagpapa-implement yan. At kung ano yung nasa ordinansa, halimbawa, sa first offense ay warning, which is always the case na nagwa-warning naman talaga ang inyong local policemen sa unang nakita, sa unang case ng pagkakakita ng isang tao. So, pwedeng sa pangalawa ay meron ng fine, meron ng magbayad na siya. At sa pangatlo, pwedeng may kasamang community service na. At kung sa pagkaka-aresto ng isang tao ay meron pa siyang ibang nalabag, halimbawa, disobedience or resisting arrest na, pwede siyang kasuhan pa rin sa under the revised penal code. Yan ang mga pwedeng we can slap them with such cases, Barnes, no? At alam mo naman yung inyong PNP ay naunawa naman natin na bakit nagbo-violate ang mga yan. Kaya sabi na ni Jester noon, yung mga police na naka-apprehend ay huwag sasaktan yung mga kababayan natin. Bagkus ay tulungan pa sila kung wala silang face mask, ay bigyan nyo sila ng face mask. Yun ang sabi nyo, bigyan ninyo ng face shield. Yun ang sabi niya. Para hindi naman, kasi maging practical tayo. Paano kung dadalhin mo ay punong-puno na ang tulungan ng stasyon? Kaya ang ginagawa ay yung mga local ground commanders natin, nagko-coordinate yan sa mga barangay, sa mga munisipyo, sa city leaders natin na gamitin muna ang mga open spaces or usually yung mga basketball courts natin at doon muna sila hino-hold habang nire-record yung mga nagawa nilang
Okay.
minor infractions, no? Ang ordinansa. So, pwede hanggang 12 hours lang sila pwedeng i-hold doon, no? After that, uuwi na sila. So parang ganun lang na ano, na naintindihan naman natin yung sitwasyon ng bawat isa, no?
Okay. Sana po nakikinig po yung mga police on the ground sa sinabi ninyo kasi napakaganda po ng sinabi ninyo for preventing abuses. Na meron po talaga tayo nakita last year ng mga cases po ng abuses ng authority. All right. So on that note, since wala na po tayong time, we have to cut this interview. Thank you so much, spokesperson of the Philippine National Police, Police Brigadier General Ronaldo Olay. Salamat po sa I think nag-offline na po si Sir. So, but I
Nandito pa.
hope he's still listening. Thank you. Ay, nandiyan na ba? Okay, pasensya na po. Akala ko nag-offline na po kayo.
Ang pasasalamat ay nasa amin on behalf of our Chief PNP, Police General Guillermo Lorenzo Tolentino Eliazar, ay nagpapasalamat kami sa pagkakataon na ito, Barnes. Maraming salamat.
Hopefully the next time we can have General Eleazar on this show. Thank you. Thank you po. Thank you po, General Olay. Thank you for your time. And of course, to those who tuned in to this Friday episode of Viewpoint, thank you for joining us. Do catch us live weekly, usually on Saturdays, but these last 2 weeks we've been running the show on Fridays. Here on Now You Know's Facebook page, Twitter, and YouTube pages as well. For updates on our upcoming episodes, please join our Facebook group. Just search for Viewpoint on Now You Know. Again, my name is Barnaby Lowe. This is Viewpoint, Now You Know.